Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today I want to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza and why this might end up being my game of the year. This is going to be a big discussion. I will say this off the bat right now. It will be in the title of the video. There will be spoilers. Most of the spoilers will come towards the end of the video. Like the major spoilers will be at the end of the video, and I will make a warning of that. Whatever footage I've got on screen, I will try and do early world footage so that there's nothing too crazy in the video if you do want to watch this. But please understand that there will be spoilers in there because I've completed the main story. I'm going back and collecting bananas, so there's going to be things that you may not want to see. Alright, and there's definitely going to be stuff at the end of this if you haven't completed the game that you definitely don't want to hear. But Donkey Kong Bonanza, I have played it, I have finished the main story, I'm far from putting the game down. This game is incredible. It's by the Mario Odyssey team, which, you know, pretty obvious when you realise what's going on in the game. And this is just a really fantastic Donkey Kong game. Where does it rank for me personally up there? Like, Donkey Kong Country is still my favourite, and I think it will always be my favourite. But this is up there with those. I think you have Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, you have Tropical Freeze. I think they are the three best games, and I think this is up there. This is probably on par with them as well, because this is the first 3D out of the two 3D games that exist. Fully 3D, like movement Donkey Kong games. I know people like Donkey Kong 64, but that game has a lot of problems. This is just a incredibly well-paced, well-playing, like just fun 3D platformer with a ton of character, a ton of heart, some really interesting things, a bit of a love letter to the older games as well. And I've had an absolute blast with it. Like, I don't know what my hours are I put into it, but I've just been playing a lot of it, and I was up to early hours trying to like do some of the later game parts to find out what was going to happen and some of the end game parts, but we will come to that. Let's just talk about the game in general. This is a 3D platformer, and now usually, you know, 3D platformers can come in two sort of categories: collectathons and then your sort of more standard platforming. This is primarily just a standard platformer. There is collectibles like the bananas that you collect and things like that, but there's nothing here that you need to get from the start of the game to the end. The collectibles in this with the bananas just give you skill points, so they are worth going after. But primarily, the game is just about you exploring and enjoying the world, seeing the crazy things that happen. And that's kind of the main thing about this, the main draw about this game, is that when you drop into a particular layer, you are set out, here is the new place that you're in, go and explore, go find out things, you know, see what's going on in the story if you want, but because you have the ability to bash through the walls, bash through the ground, stuff like that, you can kind of make your own path and just do things at your own pace. Some people are going to beeline more of objectives, more people are going to explore, some people are going to 100%. The game kind of just says, hey, you know, it gives you a direction, but you don't have to follow that direction, or you can make your own path there. So there is that. And because of this sort of style that they've gone for, the game's very, what I think the term has popped up more and more regular, like an expressive platformer. The game kind of lets you do that. Like, what's cool about it is the Donkey Kong has his roll, he has his slap, he has the ability to climb, punch around him. And these tools allow you to get around fairly efficiently around each of the maps. And once you kind of understand what works and what doesn't, you can make some fun jumps, you can break things, you can also pick up obviously rocks and chuck stuff. Like, the toolkit that DK has from the off has enough breadth and depth to keep you interested and entertained and adding new ideas throughout the entire game. And that's something that this game just does very well. The gameplay is just, everything marries back into that gameplay of like your abilities to be able to get around, to find more bananas or hidden secrets and things like that. It does it in such a way that's just, it's just such a joy to play. Like, I didn't want to put the game down a lot of the time. I was just like, I want to explore, I want to go find more bananas. Like, some of the secret or like the puzzle, like I guess they're like puzzle levels that you find around, or like battle levels, like these little segmented levels that are off the main ones. There's a ton of those that are really fun. The main worlds to explore are a ton of fun. Each world is like a layer, and then has a few sub layers, which kind of like an extension of the main one, and you get to just see it all, explore it all. Like, there's so many clever like hidden puzzles and things and stuff that's just about, that makes this game, like, they really make these worlds feel Like, you'll be on a layer and it's like, oh, there's like, you know, 30 to 40 bananas that you're looking for. You're like, how the earth do they fit in that many bananas around here? And then you like go around and start finding them and you're like, okay, some of these are really clever. The gameplay is really the absolute main focus of this game. They really wanted you to enjoy every minute and every moment and try to add in something new, something fresh in each layer that you go to. And I think they succeed for that for the most part. Some of the layers here are more interesting than others. Like, it's usually the case. You're always going to have ones that like seem to have more love put into them than versus some of the other ones. But the weird and wonderful ones are, you know, kind of interesting. Like, the very first one you get, and you've seen in the trailers, is like that weird lagoon layer. And that alone has a ton of places to explore. And that's what makes it really interesting, is each time you get to a layer, you don't know how big or small it's going to be until you've kind of gotten through it, and then you go on, okay, cool, yeah, this is interesting. But like, each of the layers has its new challenges. You'll see, obviously, when they announce in the trailers, like the Bananzas, the skills that DK gets, so he picks them up as it goes down. Like, they add to the gameplay. They are kind of like a break the game kind of thing, like almost a cheat code in some aspects, because some of them are just stupidly powerful. But the monkey one, the zebra one, like what's the other one they showed off? Ostrich. Like, all of them. There are others, but we'll come to them later on. There are others, but yeah, those first three that you get are crazy powerful, and you're like, okay, now I can do, I've got a bigger moveset. It's like expanded on my moveset. Might be time limited, but they really do help. I can go on and on and on about the gameplay. The gameplay sells itself. The game itself is just phenomenal to play. It's one of the like best platformers I've played in a long time. Like, maybe since Mario Odyssey, maybe since Forgotten Land. Like, Nintendo do know how to make platformers. They are the kings of platformers, and so pretty much all of their platforming games are usually exquisite. And knowing how much I loved Kirby and the Forgotten Land and Super Mario Odyssey and Super Mario Wonder, like, you know, all of these games, and this is just more of that greatness, more of that fun that you expect from a Nintendo platformer when you're roaming around. This game actually takes some inspiration from Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild as well, where there's like elements to it that feel like they were literally pulled straight from those games and stuff. I won't, like, you know, it's not always obvious, but just because the way that like those puzzle levels are like the shrines. You know, same with Odyssey. Like, you had the puzzle levels that were kind of like the shrines as well. You'd go into like a separate little room or whatever, and you have to do it. And it's like that kind of process that's been going on at Nintendo. I really like. There's just elements that I just really enjoy, and I think that's what makes Bananza as fun as it is. It's just, there's just little things that just keep popping up constantly. You never feel like you're bored. Like, as soon as you think you've like mastered stuff, it's like, this layer has something new to try, and that's just awesome. Like, you really want that from a game, that you never feel like you want to master your basic set, but like being able to add to that set. Brings me on to the characters. There are, you know, DK being, this is like the newest, most expressive version of DK that we've ever seen. I'm still not 100% sold on this new look that he's got. Like, I obviously, you know, I've only seen it in the movie, I've seen it in the Mario Kart World. It's not bad, I don't dislike it completely. I just think I'm so used to seeing the country version that Rare made, and that's like my DK. But there's nothing wrong with this one. He's very expressive. He's almost, the weirdest thing about him is he seems like almost more expressive than any other character in the game. Like, it's almost like he is redesigned in a way that's very different to everyone else. Like, you've seen in the trailers Cranky Kong, you've seen in the trailers Dixie and Diddy, and they have had slight tweaks to them, but DK is like completely different versus them, and it's kind of odd. Same with Pauline being in this game as well. Like, she seems fairly normal like the rest of the characters, but it makes DK stand out being that goofy, that crazy. He has some funny expressions throughout the game. So Pauline's great. Having this version of Pauline that is younger, that is getting to that point of being like, I know what I want to do with my life. You know, I want to be a singer. Like, the whole point of her being this like person that sings, that's what powers up DK, stuff like that. It's really cool. And she just adds a lot of the life and soul to the game, where she's like, you know, she's not annoying at any point. She's quite talky, but she's just finding her way in the world. She wants to go to the surface. She wants to be, you know, she wants to get back there, get home. And she, you know, she's learning about herself as she goes, and it's kind of cool. Like, it's weird with DK because DK just grunts and things at her, but he seems to understand what she wants, and he's there to help her. And it's kind of cool. They really bond throughout the game, and I think that's like an awesome thing. It's actually like more of a story than I expected, but I liked it. I like what they're doing. You've obviously got Cranky, Dixie, Diddy. They've been shown off. They're kind of more of the same. You have other monkeys that you experience. You've got the main villains that you've seen that have their own sort of expressiveness and silliness. Void Kong is like the main bad guy. He's probably the other most expressive character in the game. He's almost like manic to a T. Like, he kind of reminds me of some other villains that are just completely maniacal, and that's kind of that works quite well in the game. Yeah, so like, you know, having Pauline speak and all these other characters speaking gibberish or whatever it is kind of cool. Like, it works pretty well. Like, Nintendo are moving towards more of like having characters speak and things like that as the game goes on, which is, you know, just ideal because it's just a bit easier to digest sometimes. But I kind of like the DK just grunts and he makes funny noises. That's kind of DK. Like, I get like with maybe like Link always being a silent protagonist, maybe that's kind of worn thin for maybe some people, but DK's a monkey, like a big ape. He should be making noises. But yeah, the characterization of a lot of stuff in the world, the characters you meet, the NPCs and stuff, they can't really add to it. Like, there's a minor spoiler if you don't want to hear this. There's a world where you come across elephants, and they're all wearing like raincoats and things because they're all like they all deal with the weather and stuff, and they're just so well like animated and things like that. And the same with the zebras and stuff, the way that they've got like woolly coats on and things. Like, I love just the silly characterization of the NPCs. They're great. They're honestly just a lot of fun. And you meet these like rocks that have got like googly eyes, and they change shapes and forms and stuff throughout the game, and they're kind of fun as well. And you can just beat them up. It's something that I very much like. Is the characterization is very, very good. Then you've got the music. Both again, mild spoilers. There is some old classic music in the game from a few different places, but the music on its whole is pretty good. I don't think it hits the heights of some of the classic DK games. I think the problem is that David Wise does such a phenomenal job. It's hard to really beat him. Like, Tropical Freeze has a better soundtrack than this game, but the guys over in Japan definitely made some of these tracks with a lot of love to the originals, and you see that both in gameplay and with the music. And some of the new music, like the Bananza music, are phenomenal. There's a couple of the worlds you go to that have some awesome music. But there's a couple of really odd tracks. Some of the bonus levels and the like puzzle levels have awesome music, but it's just occasionally some of the worlds you come to are just a bit like, it's not non-existent. But the boss fights, other things like that, the final part of the game, which we'll get onto, that really shines with music and stuff like that. And so, because that's a big part of DK's history, is his music. The music's super important. Like, even when you go to bed in this game to rest, you get a bit of the like the old classic DK theme, so that's really cool. But you've got like, you know, there is music grabs. I know they've shown off a few bits and bobs. I don't want to go over it here if people haven't necessarily heard them. You know, we can do a spoiler segment in a minute because there is obviously the end game that we need to talk about. But just know that like my time and experience with this game, I know I haven't touched on every single thing in gameplay and characters, but like, this game is this is the game that should have launched for the Switch 2. I'll be honest. Like, I get Mario Kart being there. Mario Kart is like one of their biggest, if not their biggest franchise now. This is why you would buy a Switch 2. This game is just Nintendo at its finest when they do platformers. They're just so good at doing platformers, and DK has been nothing but just pure fun and enjoyment. And the game at this point has gotten more difficult. Like, the game can be very easy, the game can be very like hard depending on what you do. You do get skill points. I haven't even mentioned really that you can add. You know, you get more health, or you can like upgrade all your Bananzas, stuff like this. Like, you can do a lot of stuff in this game. There's outfits, there's like, yeah, houses that you can make to rest at. Like, there's just a lot of stuff. And the whole time I was playing, I just had a big smile on my face. It was just such a joyful experience. Like, I got the same with Kirby, I got the same with Mario Odyssey, where I'm like, man, I love Nintendo platformers. They always try to bring a level of creativity, or they just sort of bring a level of just charm that no one else can ever really replicate. But that is my thoughts on the game. That is my thoughts on the characterization, the music. I'm probably missing some stuff, but those are the most important things to me to talk about. So I want to talk about the ending part of the game, because this is huge. But I'm gonna give you guys, like, this is your final warning, right? I'm about to go into incredible spoiler territory. Now, if you want to leave. You've watched enough of the video, and you're gonna give you a countdown to 1. So then you got that time to go. So 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. So let's talk about the biggest and most impactful thing that they did with this game is that they brought back King K. Rool. I was literally like just shocked that the guys over in Japan, like, because you got to think King K. Rool's a villain invented by Rare, and he was in DKC 1, 2, and 3, and also he was in DK64 as the main villain, and then after that I think he only showed up in spin-offs until Smash, and where he had a huge reception. And that was the first time, I think, where they were like, right, we're going to use this character, and obviously Sakurai being like that team over in Japan. And now we have a bunch of guys making a new Donkey Kong game and using K. Rool as the big twist at the end of the game in the last 2 to 3 hours. This is now your villain. And the thing is, they did it with so much love, so much care to the original games, that it was quite the shock, but also quite the emotional sort of, like, this was like 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, or 1:30, 2 in the morning when I was playing it, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, what is happening? That was, it genuinely, like, really elevated this game, because not only did they bring back King K. Rool, they actually brought back the Kremlins, and each of the Kremlins that they brought back had their original sound effects. So you slap some of the crocs and they go, oh, like that, or you hit the bees and they had the classic sound when they die. Like, it was insane. They brought back neckies as well, like the vultures. They go ah like that and stuff. Like, I was just shocked, an utter shock, that they put so much love and care, and the fact that they used the original sound effects. But the thing with K. Rool was that, like, what even made it even better was the fact that they essentially decided to pay complete homage to the original DKC, where you have the fake credit scene. So you have a fight with K. Rool. It's not too difficult, but you have a fight with him. You knock him out. You then go back to the surface, and then suddenly fake credits are playing, and then a remix of Gangplank Galleon comes on. And the next thing you know, you have probably my favourite moment of the entire game, where K. Rool's got the old rocket packet on back of him. He shoots up after you, and he's trying to stop you from reaching the surface with one of the best remixes of Gangplank Galleon playing. And that, like, 3-minute to 4-minute section is just, I literally started crying. Like, I was like, oh my god, you know, they nailed, not only they nailed and brought back the most important villain in the DK games, they brought back with one of the best bits of music of all time, one of the best, like, scenarios that's happening. And it doesn't stop there. You go through that section, you then get back to the surface at the end of the game, and you end up in New Donk City, which is like, okay, so now you're connecting it to Mario Odyssey, so that's pretty crazy. And then you have to fight K. Rool again in a boxing ring, which is a reference to Mario 64. And it's a pretty tough fight. If you don't know what you're doing, you will get wrecked pretty easily. But that entire couple of hours was just like, oh wow. Like, as I'm pretty sure a lot of old school Donkey Kong fans were very, very happy to see, you know, that they brought back K. Rool. They did it with a lot of love. Even the levels, like I've said about earlier, like there's some retro levels in this that I think they've shown off. Like, there's one that's based on Jungle Hijinks. There's Sticker Brush Symphony. There's, like, and obviously some of the music. It's crazy how much love they actually care about the older series. Like, I just think people just weren't expecting it, because it's a very different Donkey Kong game, and it's also like, yeah, a lot of the stuff that people know about the original Donkey Kong's lore comes from Western companies. The fact that this, you know, Odyssey team, this Japanese team has gone, no, we need to respect all that, gives me a lot of, like, I genuinely feel like that team deserves, like, they need a medal, because they nailed, even though the game doesn't play like anything like a classic 2.5D Donkey Kong, like, they've nailed so much love, and it's hard not to respect that. I for one am just gobsmacked. Like, I just can't believe K. Rool's back. I hope that if another DK game is made, that they do something with K. Rool from the start. Put him as the main villain from the start. He is the quintessential Donkey Kong villain. He is the Bowser to Mario. You know what I mean? Like, he is the main villain to this game. It's like the Ridley to Samus. Like, and they showed this off. They did this with Smash. They showed it off. Please, please don't ever let this big ugly crocodile ever go away. The fact that he is a goofball as well is what also makes him such a fun villain. I know some people are going to be like, what does it matter, he's not that interesting, but people, you got to understand that, like, this is a villain that has a very goofy backstory. You know, he turns up in the first game as a guy on a boat, then he turns up as a pirate and he starts taunting you in the second game, and then in the third game he's an inventor. Like, he's not like Bowser. He's not like trying to capture the princess. He's like more, I want all your bananas, give me all your hoard, you know. Like, he's got a very different motive. And that's not to say that the Tikis and the Snowmads weren't exactly, like, they weren't bad by any means, but they're not the Kremlins, and the Kremlins have very unique characterization. K. Rool's just a good leader for it, and, like, yeah, I honestly, it elevated the game so much for me. I'm just so happy for, like, DK fans, myself. Like, this is such a wonderful experience. I would love Nintendo to do some DLC with more K. Rool. Or just let me play as K. Rool. I don't know, just do something. It would be super awesome. I also think that K. Rool is going to make an appearance in Mario Kart World. I just got this vibe where, you know what, they're probably going to add him in as an extra character, like for free or something. I think they probably might more want to make a push with him. Like, I think you could do a lot with him. So, yeah, you know, I mean, that's pretty much the big spoilers, like going to New Donk City, King K. Rool, the Kremlins, all that sort of stuff. I just love this game. Like, the game definitely isn't perfect. Please don't go away thinking I think this game is 100 out of 100 kind of thing. It has some issues. There are some performance issues. There's some crazy difficulty spikes. Little bits here and there that I don't think are perfect. But as someone who loves DK games, I got what I wanted out of it. I can overlook those flaws because of the enjoyment that I had, and just genuinely happy. Just happy to see the return of, like, a classic villain, and to see that this DK game, like, I hope this game does well. I want to see it hit like 10 million copies sold. That would be so good. Maybe it'll get there in time, but, like, it's deserving to be like that. It just means that the better this does, the more DK games we get, and DK games are always fun. So, you know, it's definitely, like, right now, it's my contender for, like, game of the year. I've had such a good time with it, and it's in a year where there's been so many good games already. This is, like, this speaks to me. Like, platformers are literally my jam. I love it. I'm really enjoying it, and I just hope that it gets the respect. The reviews have been phenomenal of it, and I think everybody, if you can afford it and you can get it, go out and buy it. I think this is such a wonderful experience. I just want to play more of it. I want to play lots more of it. I want to try and get as many of the bananas. I want to do the post-game stuff, all that sort of things, and just keep enjoying this until the next thing comes along, like, you know. But honestly, wonderful game, charming as all hell. Like, love letter to the fans and classic DK fans and the classic games, and that's really all you can ask for. So that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you like the video, please hit the like button because that helps out a ton. If you want to see more content, obviously Switch 2 stuff, then hit the subscribe button, stick around. I'm obviously going to be covering a lot of Switch 2 stuff where I can, so there's going to be more content coming. But until then, I will see you next video.